1A at Lonely Tree Media headquarters in Yakima, Washington. This is the Best Lamb Sports Show. Seriously. Seriously?
A little delay.
No, it's not the right song.
Oh, your stuff's in the wrong place.
The one that I have set up, and I literally just set it up, is not set up. I literally just set it up.
I heard you. I heard it play earlier when we did our test recording.
That's what I'm getting at. What the heck just happened? How on earth is it different?
Hit the button again. Let's hear it.
It's killing me. No, it's not there anymore. It's literally not there anymore. I literally set it up.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm talking about the other program. Gotcha.
And and on OBS, I have to load, or on GoXLR, I have to load in the recordings that I want to play. This is all live, by the way. So everybody, welcome to the show. This is great.
Welcome to our technical podcast.
But I literally just set this up, and all I did was minimize that program, and I've got no whatever I set up is not there anymore. How is that possible?
Dad, I don't know.
I don't know.
I did see it get minimized. I don't know anything about the way your computer operates.
I don't either. Sure. Apparently, I don't either.
It seems like it has a mind of its own. Yeah,
it does. All right, here. So wait. So now, nope. Still not going to play it. We're just not going to play this song. It's right there. I see it. Right?
That one?
That one.
That's it?
But I had to hit a different button. I couldn't hit the right button. This button here is supposed to play and fade it. And it's not doing any of that. Just decided not to work. I don't know. Really confusing. That's what I'm getting at. This kind of stuff is really confusing. I don't understand how it just changes things, and I have no idea what just happened. And so now there I am. So anyway, I'm your host, David Lamm. With me is my son, Parker. Say hello, Parker.
Hello, Parker.
Is that going to work?
That won't work. Just fine.
It's because the audience is always here.
You usually are.
They do good. They do good work. I don't know. I don't even know what's happening. So who knows? This may be awesome and it may be not. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter at Lamm Sports, which I'm thinking about getting rid of, by the way.
Why?
I don't use it. I don't have enough time to post enough tweets.
Sure.
I mean, and the stuff that I get sent to me I don't want to hear it or see it. Half the stuff that gets sent as a notification say, hey, you should look at it. No, I don't want to look at that.
That's just part of having Twitter. They try and push you to look at other stuff.
I think so. We're on Facebook under the Best Lamb Sports Show. You can send us an email, lambsports@gmail.com. And please, did I say .com? And please check out our webpage. You can find links to the past shows, current trivia question on lambsports.com. Maybe. At this point, I don't know what's going to happen. Every time I turn on the computer, it's a new thing, so I have no idea what's happening. But anyway, DeAndre Hopkins is a Tennessee Titan, and do we care is the question. Danny Ricciardo is back in F1 this coming weekend. The NBA Summer League crowned a champion. Lots of runs scored in Major League Baseball last night. We're going to talk about that real quick. The British Open coming up this weekend. College football, by the way. College football's first game 38 days away, in case anybody's interested. Notre Dame versus Navy is the first college football game of the year, 11:30 a.m. on the Notre Dame network, which is NBC. Yeah. Do you care about watching Notre Dame and Navy as the first opening game? I mean, kind of.
I care to watch sports.
I do. It's college football, and I'll watch it no matter what, right?
That's exactly right.
Pretty much whatever.
Starved of it, so I need it.
Right. So 38 days. We're right around the corner. Let's talk about. Let's open this up with the trivia question because that's what I've got here. The Stave and Stone trivia question is for this week. So Major League Baseball had a record-setting run scoring output last night, and so it got to me thinking about what's the Major League Baseball record for runs scored in a game for both teams combined runs scored. So that's the question for tonight. What's the Major League record for one game for both teams scoring runs?
Well, and regular or
highest scoring. Yeah, it's just I think it. Well, what I searched should have included playoffs. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
So that's what I'm after. Just a number, but it's not easy because it's not easy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's that. There's the question. So let's talk about the NBA real quick because we can. So the Summer League just crowned as champion. Isaiah Mobley had 28 points and 11 rebounds to help the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Houston Rockets, 99-78, to capture their first ever Summer League. What's NBA 2K24 Summer League Championship, right? That's what the official sponsor and all is, right? Um, the question I have is, right, it's the Cavs' first title, and the tournament started going to a Summer League tournament format in 2013. The Blazers have won twice. Sacramento's also won twice. I guess the question is Summer League important or relevant? Or should they even have it? Is it, I mean, the scrimmages are good. It's what it is, basically a scrimmage, right?
Yeah.
Why do we have rings and an all tournament team and a championship trophy? Why do we have all that for practice?
Well, because it's the only time that the guys not named LeBron, Steph Curry are going to win them.
That could be.
You're never going to wait. You think Evan Mobley or Isaiah Mobley has a chance to win anything in the regular season?
No,
like
but
any personal awards or probably any team awards? Probably not.
But do we need to hand out awards to everybody all the time? Is that a thing?
No, but it's still like it's still a tournament, right? Like this is a thing that exists everywhere, whether it be elementary school, middle school, high school. Yeah. You do tournaments all the time. You do club basketball all the time with trophies everywhere.
Sure.
So,
and I get it.
This is just the next step of that. You go from playing college for a trophy.
But we have that
for
already.
So hold on. You play for your conference trophy, right? And you play for your interseason tournament trophy, your battle for the Atlantis trophy. And then you pay for then you play for your tournament trophy.
Yeah.
And then you go to the Summer League and play for your Summer League trophy. And then you go to the NBA and play for your division trophy and your conference trophy and your trophy. Yeah, so there's a lot of trophies out there even without this. This doesn't change much. It's just I've never really sat down and thought about how many different trophies you could win.
I guess, but
between like your senior year and like your second year in the league.
I kind of thought once you're a professional basketball player, you're playing for an NBA trophy. You're playing for the championship trophy and those things, not a summer league trophy. I mean, I just like it. I don't know. Okay, and that's going to bring us to a whole nother thing here because there's more. Do you watch summer league basketball? I mean, I watched a little bit.
Yeah, I watch it
just because it's on and there's no other basketball, right? I mean, in WNBA, if you want
a little bit of that, but also, I mean, you get these new guys.
Yeah.
And see, that's my argument about summer league. If you're gonna allow teams to just sit players because like a Victor, Wembanyama, what's the point of making them be there at all? Like,
right, if they're only gonna play one
this
game.
is now no fun. I really don't need to watch, Evan Mobley in his second year, right?
Chet Holmgren.
I don't need to watch Chet Holmgren. Like I saw him last year in summer league. I don't care anymore.
So and just so everyone can see, this first picture. That's a summer league trophy or summer league ring from 2022, from last year. And this is by the way, this is an NBA championship ring from 1947 from the Philadelphia Warriors. Nice. I feel like this one is way more elaborate than this one, and this is for the NBA championship. Well, it is. You're right, but I mean,
when was the date on this bronzy one?
47.
There you go. Post-war.
Yeah.
No, like
could be a lot of reasons, but if you look at, you can go online and look. They have a list. They have like I don't know, what do you want to say, a walkthrough of all of these championship trophy or championship rings from like 1940. You don't have all of them, but pictures of all of them, but from 47 on through to the present, and you can just watch them get more. It seems like every year that we want one better than last year. It's got to have 6 more diamonds than the last year.
Well, think about this. An average NBA player in 1946-47 season made between $4,000 and $5,000 a season.
True, and this ring was probably twice that.
And that ring was so freaking expensive at the time.
It probably was, too.
Yeah, and that one diamond was hard to get. Why? Because they're not just farmed out of Africa like they are now or wherever they are from. So, yeah, it's
Arkansas.
I get it, Arkansas. Yeah.
They have a diamend mine in Arkansas.
Also known as the Africa of the South.
The Africa. I don't know. I don't know if
that sounded wrong. Woo! I didn't mean it in the wrong way. It was just trying to. Holy moly! But yeah, it's just. It makes sense. Like when I've looked at like championship trophies from way back when, they just look.
Yeah,
they just look weak.
Plain,
they look really
right?
weak. But now, I mean, if the NBA didn't start making money until like the 60s, like
I guess
late
that's
50s,
true.
60s. It is not making money. Like,
not that kind of, because the TV
but now
started
they're
coming
making.
in.
billions and
Well, because
billions of
TV.
dollars. So
Yeah.
this is a small hit. Those are
But
Savarsky eating
but
wins.
is the NBA? No, here's my question: is the NBA giving them these rings, or is it the team that's giving them these rings?
Well, the NBA gives them these rings
You think the summer league ones? What about the NBA title rings? Like I think they get
when the
them
team
made, right?
wins.
The team,
Yeah,
yeah.
the team gets the title rings.
So the
But
team
the summer league
pays
ones,
for
I
it.
think, are just kind of like
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
They look kind of generic.
They're different.
I don't know if they're going to have like a logo on it or something like that.
I don't know, but they're different every year. What I've noticed is each one of the summer league ones is different too. I don't know. I feel like if the teams are paying for this is probably the reason why a ticket costs so much. But what do I know? Because you got to pay for rings and trophies and things for stuff that doesn't matter. Because the summer it's practice. These are practice games, and we're giving away trophies and having an all tournament team and a champ. This is dumb. That is dumb to me. Why do you need recognition for practice? You're the best practicer ever. Thank God.
It's still a competitive tournament of basketball.
It's
That's like saying just because you're not in the NBA, it's just practice. It's like no, you can be a European player with a long career. You can be a G leaguer.
Yeah,
G League has a tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. That is your league championship. The NBA has one already.
This is literally a league.
It is not really. It's a practice league.
It's literally called summer.
It's
league.
practice league. We're talking about practice.
You're talking about practice because you want to undervalue this competition.
But it is. It's just practice. None of those games count for anything.
All of them are just practice until the playoffs, right? And then even those are just practice for the finals.
You're right.
Even those are just practice for the next year.
But you got to get there first. You got to win enough to get there.
It's all just practice. So let's be abstract about it, and let's try and just appreciate the fact that you actually get to watch some guys, right? Some guys you don't normally get to see.
Chet Holmgren.
Get time, and it's great.
I don't know.
But so also, I'm looking at a picture of the sides of the Summer League ring, and they just say champions with the it says UNLV on there because that's where they play the tournament.
Right.
Because Las Vegas, they don't have any markings on there that say the teams.
Okay.
So these are definitely sponsored by them.
Then let's talk about this. Let's talk about the in-season tournament that's going to happen this year.
Sure.
Why?
Why not?
Why though? Why are we having an in-season? Why are you going to have an in-season basketball tournament?
They do it in college basketball all the time. I haven't heard you raising a stink about that.
That's not true. They have preseason tournaments. If you want to call those in-season, you can call them what you want.
Pre-league tournaments.
Non-conference tournaments.
Right.
That's fine.
What if these are somewhat non-conference games?
That's fine. None of these are going to count towards the season record, I don't think. Right?
I actually don't know.
It goes from November 3rd to December 9th, right? So it's a month. Right? And there's pool play. You're going to play four games against the teams in your pool. And then you're going to have
it's kind of like
soccer.
It's kind of like a preseason tournament because it's super early.
It is. What I don't like is who's going to play in this if there's a chance to be injured and none of those games count towards the final? Why would you play and risk being injured in a game that doesn't matter? Oh, there's a prize pool. I get it. There's a prize because the players need more money. I don't get it. I don't understand this at all. I think this is dumb because that's what players are trying to get away from in every league across the world.
You ready
I don't
for
want
this?
to play as much.
So, a little Google search. All 67 games across both stages of the in-season tournament will count toward the regular season standings except the championship game.
Why not
there
the
you go.
Game?
So that's why you're going to play hard.
Why not
because the championship game isn't part of your normal scheduling.
Okay, so
it's
just
pulled outside of it.
So just play to get into the championship, and then we can sit out. We don't have to do anything, right? Because we don't want to play in that game because that might not work. That might not count.
Contract bonuses, etc.
I get it. I get.
There's a thousand reasons why people are going to play hard.
So money's the reason, right?
Is money not the reason for all of it?
I guess, but extra money is the reason why you're going to play in this tournament, right? It's extra money.
That's people's only incentive for playing hard ever is more money.
I just don't. I don't like this idea of an in-season tournament. I don't like it. I think it's. Dumb.
I don't think it changes much. It's literally not going to be any sort of hindrance on really anything.
Sure.
They're going to talk about it. Is all.
I think it's a bad idea. I think if the NFL said, "Hey, we're going to have 6 extra games in the middle of the season, and it's going to be an in-season tournament, but they're going to count towards your regular season," the guys would be like, "No, we're not doing that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to play those games as part of this because no other league, baseball might, because they play 162 games anyway. What difference would a couple extra games more or an in-season tournament make? But
baseball needs to lose 40 games before they think about anything else. But yeah,
but I just don't like this. I think this is dumb. I think this. Oh, we're gonna have. Look, we're gonna have at the conclusion of the tournament, the NBA will name the most valuable player of the in-season tournament and the all-tournament team. We got to give them trophies. We got to give them rings. We got to give them all this crap to recognize that you won these 6 games. I think that's dumb. That's dumb.
I don't think it matters. Like, I don't think it changes anything. Like, I don't think anybody major is going to get hurt during it. I mean, very rarely do players get hurt at that point in the season. Big injuries happen early and late. They don't usually happen like December.
If you have to play them anyway, if these games are part of the counting games of your 82 games for the season and you got to play them anyway, then yeah, it doesn't make a difference. You're right. But the championship game doesn't count. Why is that the game that doesn't count?
I couldn't tell you.
That seems dumb.
Is it just because those 2 teams will have an extra game on everyone else?
But all the Final 4 will have 2 extra games on everybody else. But those 2 games, semifinals count, but the final doesn't count. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, here's your pool, and this is the best picture I could find, but here's your pool teams. They've already drawn the pool.
Yeah.
Right? Portland's in probably the worst pool you could get in.
Utah's down. The Lakers are Memphis, you're not sure, and Phoenix is really good, so what are you going to do?
Okay, so what I'm going to tell you is that Memphis finished 2nd, Phoenix finished 4th, and the Lakers finished 7th in the West last year.
I hear what you're saying.
That's 3 of the top 7 teams are in that.
Memphis got swept in the second round. The Lakers got swept.
Got it. Still have the best record in the NBA. Still have those 3 of the 7 best records in the West, as opposed to the West B.
The B group is the real group to be fearful of because they've got this Rockets team that's rebuilding with a whole bunch of different pieces
for this year.
Really,
right?
It looks really good. Well, yeah, I mean we're talking about this year.
Well, what I'm getting at
the Mavs team that looks reloaded. The Clippers are always stacked, assuming nobody actually ends up leaving, and then of course the Nuggets.
And technically, based on last year's records, the B is the worst group. New Orleans, Dallas, and Houston are 3 of the worst teams in the West from last year. New Orleans made the playoffs and lost in the first round, right? Made the play-in game, I guess. Lost that first game.
Yeah,
but
the Mavs didn't make the playoffs.
Nope,
yeah.
Neither did the Rockets.
But guess what? They have a title winner in there.
I get you. I hear it. I hear it all.
All of these things considered, they're the only ones with a title at the end of it all.
Right. Anyway.
And pure talent-wise, 3 or 4 of those 5 teams are tough, are stacked.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know how good any of these teams actually are. I know that Denver's good. I know Sacramento's good. I know Memphis won 50-something games last year. I know Phoenix should be better, should be good, right?
Well, something to consider. Jaw's suspended for half the season, right? So you're talking about a Memphis team that doesn't have Jaw for the whole entire playing tournament. So that's that. But you saw how good they were without Jaw last year.
Yeah. It's true, and that may be. You're right. It may be.
So that's a Memphis team I'm not really worried about. That's a Utah team I'm not really worried about. The Lakers are always someone to worry about, and Phoenix has a lot of talent. And now with both on their team,
yeah, Phoenix has a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. I'm just not thrilled with the direction we're going with this in-season tournament. Just I don't like it. It's not that it's because it's different. It's why? Why did you need? What is it that you needed to add this? Why did you feel like this is going to add more entertainment value? The Final Four is going to be held in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
And that's great if you live in Las Vegas or can afford to go because they're going to charge an astronomical price for you to go to one of those games. So the average fan won't be able to go to those.
The average fan can't go to most NBA games.
No, I can go to pretty much any NBA game. If I sit in the nosebleeds, and I might have to pay.
The average fan can have a okay experience and go pay $80 and go to an NBA game. Right?
But
if you want any kind of decent experience, it costs $200-$300. Assuming you bring 2 people, you're paying $600 to go to it. Most people just don't have $600 to throw at a basketball game.
And I agree with you. What I'm saying is the average NBA fan who has that $80 experience for the okay experience for a regular season game is going to pay $300 for a in-tournament season semifinal game if he wants to go. It's unaffordable now. It is absolutely unaffordable.
Everything's unaffordable now.
Well, I'm not saying it's unaffordable.
This doesn't get too worldly.
I can go to any NBA game. I can afford to go to one and sit wherever. If it's $100 at most, okay, I'm okay with that. If it's $300, I'm not going to that. There's not a chance. I'm not paying that money. That's dumb.
Right. But that's my point here is that you're trying to say that this Las Vegas tournament is particularly not affordable.
It's going to be.
I don't think that's the case. I think it's going to be like an all-star game where most people just can't get tickets, period.
Right.
It's going to be more like that.
Sure.
Not as much that you can't afford it. you just don't get to.
Well, neither one. Even if you
Um,
got a ticket was available, you wouldn't be able to
But
afford to go.
regardless, go look at the price of Lakers Warriors. You're not going to that game. I'm not going to that game. I don't know anybody who can afford to go to that game. Even when both these teams are in the bottom 4 teams in the conference, no one can afford to go to that game because sitting anywhere deep, sitting up in the nosebleeds to go watch Steph and take on LeBron costs you $400. So tickets are outpriced. Period. Yes, you can go to a Blazer game because they suck. You could probably go to a Rockets game because they suck. But try and find me that $60 nosebleed ticket to a Lakers game, any Lakers game, unless they're playing the Pistons. Well, and those tickets are always cheap. Pistons tickets are always cheap.
I mean,
They're terrible.
So it should be the Spurs tickets, right?
Well, but they've got the hype right now, the future of the NBA or whatever you want to believe.
Sure.
So I don't have a problem with the play-in tournament. It doesn't change anything. I mean, if these guys want something else to brag about, something else to make them happy, fine, whatever. It doesn't do anything though. It just doesn't. And I'm not going to those games. I'm not flying to Las Vegas to go to them. I know you weren't going to either. I'm not going to go to pay that kind of money to not watch a playoff game. Like I'm going to go to the playoffs. I'm not going to go to an in-season playoffs. I'm going to the actual playoffs. So this, like anything, I think they're going to try it. And I think after a year or two, I don't think this is going to work. The play-in tournament has had really good reviews, or not? Yeah, but the in-season tournament, I don't think it's going to stick. I think they're going to get rid of it after a couple of years. It doesn't seem like it's that great of a thing.
Do they not have the schedule out for the NBA? Don't we already have that out?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so we don't have. You can't look up ticket prices for any of the games.
Yeah, not yet.
That's not fair. All right, never mind. Okay, fine. Just curious. I don't know. Okay, we'll move on. But
It's just one of those things. Oh, by the way, it says complete schedule was released last year on August 17th, and the year before was August 20th. So I would expect it in August.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Major League Baseball had a historic night in terms of runs scored last night, by the way. 12 teams scored 10 runs or more, which is something that hasn't been done since 1894, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. Chicago, the Cubs led the way with 17 runs. They beat the Nationals 17-3. And by the way, the Cubs are littered throughout the baseball history in terms of scoring the most runs for a lot of things. Three separate games ended in 11-10 scores. The Mets beat the White Sox 11-10. Kansas City beat Detroit 11-10, and San Francisco beat Cincinnati 11-10. That's the first time that's happened ever for that particular score in Major League Baseball history. Interesting that all these runs are coming, and I was looking at the time of the games to see how long the game took, and surprisingly, some of those games were less than 3 hours.
Yeah,
and
that many runs, less than 3 hours.
That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of runs. 21 runs is a lot to be under 3 hour game. Some of them were longer. There were a 3.5 hour game. There was a 3:48 in there too, but I mean, a lot of them were right at 3 or 2:45, and I'm like 2 hours and 45 minutes, and you scored 21 runs. I would watch that game.
Right.
Yeah, that's what the MLB is looking for, right? Is all this run scoring?
Well, I mean, it's more exciting to watch people score than. I think
strikeouts
strikeouts are exciting.
Yeah.
But when there was like a little period there where runs were so hard to come by that it's like, come on, can we get something here? Jeez.
Yeah. So I guess
it's an overcorrection.
One of those things we're going to talk about maybe next week. We're going to talk about umpiring because there's been a lot of issues this year.
Yeah, they're having a lot of problems.
We're going to talk about some ejection issues because that's become a big topic in baseball is why players are getting ejected, why managers are getting ejected quickly. I mean, there's like a short fuse, the
umpires
trigger.
have like decided that we're not going to play this game.
Yeah.
When you talk back, I'm just going to go ahead and bounce you.
Which I'm okay with, but most people aren't. So, I mean, it makes it it's interesting. I don't know. Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that next week. Major League Baseball ejections and things that, arguments and bad calls and do we need to go ahead and replace them with bots? Because they're going to do that anyway at some point.
I don't think you replace them all. I just think you can replace the home plate umpire with a bot for the purpose of balls and strikes. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We can talk about that next week. Yep. The PGA Tour, golf in general, it's not just the PGA Tour, is at the British Open this weekend, which actually starts tonight at 10:35 p.m. if you want to watch it live. Yeah, because it's in Liverpool. Royal Liverpool Golf Course. Last year's champion was Cameron Smith. He won at St. Andrews. There's the claret jug, by the way, which is, the big deal. Which, the British Open is so big that it's just called the Open.
Why do they have so many trophies?
What
I
is
don't understand. They give out trophy. There's 1,000 in-season tournaments.
Hold on. He doesn't get a ring. He doesn't have a ring. He just gets
but he grabs a quick $2 million every time he comes in fourth.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm sorry they don't give him rings, but they give the fifth place guy $1 million.
But these are individual events as opposed to a team-based
You're not
game.
wrong. Yeah. I'm just trying to say that you're complaining about the NBA getting a potential couple rings a season. These guys could stack 12 to 15 trophies.
I suppose they get a trophy. Every tournament.
If you win that much,
but
you
hold
deserve
on.
it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is every tournament has a trophy, but you maybe win 3 or 4, 5 if you're really good
win that many,
a year. Yeah, it's not like you win a crap ton of anyway, but you don't get rings and you don't get your whole team doesn't get anyway. Whatever, we'll talk about it later. Yeah. So and then last time it was at Royal Liverpool, which was 2014. Rory McIlroy won the claret. I don't like Rory, so he's a piece of work. He said, he said the other day. He said the other day he wouldn't play on LIV if it was the only tour available.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
I'm like, why are you so angry? What are you so mad about? I get that they think that LIV was trying to ruin golf. That's not what they're trying to do. But okay, I mean, if that's what you believe, and he's sold on it, and he's sticking to his guns, which I admire, I think he's wrong. But that's okay.
He made $1.26 million in U.S. dollars. Rory did last time he won,
and that was 9 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So now that's like $100 billion in today's. Anyway, our show is going to be relatively short, by the way, because I don't have a whole lot to talk about, and you don't have a minute, so
we will extend it.
Well, we're gonna talk about Formula One for a minute because it's going to be a second. Which is the next topic, by the way. So let's talk about the Formula One. So Danny Ricciardo will be back in action on an F1 track this weekend at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Qualifying is Saturday at 7 a.m. I got to get to the right thing. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Cancel. 7 a.m. Pacific on Saturday's qualifying. Race is Sunday at 6 a.m. How excited are you to see Danny Ricciardo back in the AlphaTauri Red Bull stable?
I just don't want it to be like, yay, Danny, and then he comes out and just immediately is like 17th.
He does not finish.
Yay, Danny.
Yeah, we were so looking forward to this. I mean, he struggled at McLaren, and I don't know that was his fault. I think it might have been partly McLaren's fault because the whole team struggled. It wasn't just him. And yeah, so I get it. I like Danny Ricciardo. I think he's good for the sport. He's someone to identify with. He's funny. He's likable. Right?
I agree.
Yeah, I think he's good for the sport. I think him and Christian Horner have a special thing going on because Christian Horner said Ricciardo's goal is to replace Sergio Perez at the end of the 2024 season to get a seat with Red Bull in 2025 because Perez's contract goes through 2024. Why would he say that out loud? Is that fodder for
shots fired at Sergio?
For Perez?
Maybe. I mean,
trying to motivate him?
Yeah, trying to motivate him a little bit, but also, I mean, it feels to me like the Sergio Perez Red Bull thing has ran its course.
Maybe.
It just feels like it's happened. Like I feel like Sergio wants more. Whether or not he's going to get it is a whole other story. But I feel like that's where it's all gone now. So I'm just not sure that Christian Horner's like sold on keeping him around. I
think part of the problem is this hat. That that hat.
That hat, I don't know what the pattern is. I can't tell.
It's kind of I don't even know either. But that's pretty exciting. I mean, dashing, I guess, is the term we're going to use.
Yeah. One of the things I do love about what's it called, Formula One, is all of like the cool things, like the team wears, like the hats and things like that.
Yeah.
They're available everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you just go buy it.
You can get them.
Like something, you can get them. I'm looking at his hat now. This is his Canada GP cap.
Oh, okay.
It is a heat. What's it called? Like a thermal type thing. Thermal type cheetah print type thing.
Yeah, so it's definitely cheetah print.
The cheetah print is for Hispanic heritage or something.
Okay. I don't know.
That sounds right. I'm looking at pictures of it right now.
Sounds right. It could be.
But what I like about Danny Ricciardo, what everyone likes about Danny Ricciardo, is that Max Verstappen is so serious, dude.
He kind of
Sergio
is.
Perez is so serious. Lewis Hamilton is so serious. Like,
Yep.
even when they're goofy, it doesn't feel really goofy. It feels kind of like, okay.
Faked goofy.
Everyone is so freaking serious in this sport.
Right.
It's nice to have that guy. Lando and
Well,
Danny
you
were
know-
the best team because they were
Yeah.
so much fun.
And you know who else was fun to listen to? Sebastian Vettel. The problem was with Sebastian Vettel was he's German funny, and German funny is super
translate.
super serious.
It's dry as heck.
It's dry and sarcastic, and it's fun to listen to, but you have to take it a certain way, and yeah. So you know what? You're right. There's a lot of super serious. Max Verstappen is a dry interview.
Yeah, he's not exactly fun.
No, Danny Ricciardo, you don't know what's coming out, and so he's he is a good interview to listen to because you have no idea what he's going to say, and I like that, and I just liked him in general, just as a person. We saw him in Texas, at Austin, Texas, at the U.S. Grand Prix in Texas, and he, there he is out there with his cowboy hat and his Western shirt. You know what I mean?
Right,
He's a similar, yeah. He's a crowd favorite no matter where he goes because he
and no
does
matter
that.
how bad he is.
No, exactly.
That's why he keeps getting a job.
Well, it's true. I don't think he's as bad a driver as he had struggled at McLaren. I think he's going to be better. I don't know if AlphaTauri is the right place, and we'll see because that car is not. How can that car be bad when it's Red Bull's car, right?
Well, it's because they're supposed to do their own R&D.
Sure.
But that's the thing is, like, when you're not Red Bull and you're AlphaTauri, even if Red Bull is sharing stuff with you, do you think they're sharing everything?
Well, they don't want you to beat them for sure.
Oh yeah, you got to
no.
have a first place driver. Like,
Right,
you got to
absolutely.
have one team that's better than the other team. Like, you don't want constant controversy.
No, the last thing we need is Yuki Tsunoda beating us.
Okay.
Because his car's good. Also, so F1's more F1 notes if you want to talk about it. So F1 boss, I don't know if it's Stefano or Stefano. I really don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest with you. We're going to go with Stefano Domenicali. He has called for sporting sanctions instead of monetary penalties for those teams that breach the 2022 budget cap, which they're reviewing right now.
Sure.
Last year, in October, Red Bull was given a $7 million fine and a 10% reduction in wind tunnel testing time as punishment for breaching the 2021 budget cap, which was $145 million. So the question I have is, I like where he's headed with that. I think it should be a sanction. It shouldn't be a fine because you can just pay more money, right? Somebody's going to donate the money or there's a sponsor that'll pay the fine. I agree with the penalty of the on the racing. You know what I mean? I like that idea.
Well, I mean, the money, assumingly, is spent on the racing. Why wouldn't the penalty be on the racing?
Right. So the FIA has doubled the size of its auditing team this year. So hoping to catch more people, I guess. I don't know. So
I like it. I think the majority. I don't think there should be many penalties that are financial in any sport.
Right.
Like, if you get caught cheating, it shouldn't cost you draft picks. It should cost you wins this year, not last year's wins. This year's wins.
Vacating wins.
I don't like
always
vacating
do.
wins. It doesn't matter. So let's just I feel like that's where I like this idea. Like,
right.
I don't know what exactly the penalty would be, but if you go over the cost cap, let's say that you're minus 20 total points on the season.
Right.
Doesn't matter where you end up. Like, you might be in first. You might be like Red Bull ahead by 1,000 points.
Well,
doesn't matter.
First of all, this picture right here sums up why you go over budget. This is the entire Red Bull team for this year. That's a lot of people you're gonna pay. I'm just saying. And I've only seen like 8 of these people on TV, right? The pit crew, like 12. I don't know, maybe 12.
Well,
there's 100 people here.
Checo's pit crew is like 15 people.
Maybe.
Max's pit crew is like 15 people.
Okay.
Then there's engineers who aren't on the track during the race. I think a lot of these people are not part of race day. They're like engineers and stuff. But you ever see those pictures of like Toto Wolff, and like, because he doesn't do the pit wall anymore,
right?
He does it like in the garage, and he's always surrounded by like 7 people, none of them are like pit crew. There's regular people. Some of these people are those people.
Yeah, for sure. And just as a guesstimate,
I'm guessing the guys in shorts are pit crew.
there are 56 probably, dude.
The real laborers on the outside there. I don't know how true.
There's hold on 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28. There's 28 people in the front row. Now one of those is Christian Horner, and one of those is what's his name? Helmut Marko.
Yep.
And I get that they're different. They're on a different pay scale than the rest of these guys. But let's just assume there's 26 people in the front row. There's 4 rows here. That's 104 people, and a few people here on the end, and a few people here on the end, and a couple of drivers that make all the money.
Yep.
That's where all the money goes. I mean, there's a shit ton of people you're paying.
Yeah, a couple engineers in there, a couple of social media people in there, obviously pit crew, marketing, HR.
Right. What I want to know is how come this guy in the back row on the left near the end, the second from the end, why does he not get a? I
saw it right away.
Why does he not get a Red Bull shirt? What happened to that?
He forgot it.
Hey, everybody bring your shirt, and he didn't bring it, right?
Yeah. Damn it, Steve. Gosh, there are a couple people in different shirts. There's not many. There's a couple people floating around in different shirts, and then of course the guys on the outside are in shorts, which I don't understand that. Why are those guys in shorts but other guys are not?
I don't. Well, there might be more people in shorts. You just can't see them because the front row is the only ones you really can see.
I'll tell you what this. So while we're analyzing this picture, so people, if you're just listening right now, you're missing out. There are two different types of shirts that I noticed right away. So there's a shirt that Christian Horner is wearing, which has 2 large sets of logos on either side of the chest. Yeah. And then there's the shirts like the guys on the outside are wearing in the shorts.
Just one
that have one big
Bull,
red logo, on the left side. And so I'm not sure who they are, like what makes that different. As a matter of fact, I do not think those guys are pit crew. Those are probably like boosters or donors or whatever.
They just got in the picture.
Just take this shirt. I swear. One of my least favorite experiences was when we were playing PK80 at Portland State.
Yeah.
We have these 3 big donors at Portland State. They took a team picture at center court.
Yeah.
And the equipment team and the op managers couldn't be in it, but the boosters were. And I was like, man, hell with those guys.
Yeah, they didn't wash a single jersey.
Grumpy dudes. But it's also another funny thing here is the 2 guys in the front make more money than everyone else combined.
Yeah, I would imagine. So I'm looking at the picture, and I know that there's 4 guys here, right? Well, Marko and Horner probably get paid based on performance of the team, or Helmut Marko might not even. I mean, I don't know. But
he's a volunteer. He's just getting out of the house.
But the 2 guys in the front, and those 4 guys encompass about 90% of the salary.
Christian Horner's salary is $10 million per year.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Performance-based bonus of up to an additional 5, so he has $15 million salary.
And I'm guessing that him and these 2 drivers it's probably 90% of the salary for the team.
Helmut Marko's is 4 to 5 per year. No one knows for sure.
Right.
Yeah, but so hey, if this isn't a paradigm of the world right here, if this isn't like what is it called? Like
the 1% right here.
Right. These 4 guys make 5 times the wealth, 20 times the wealth of all 100 and something others.
And to be fair, the 2 guys in the front are the ones that do most of the work, right? I mean, they're the ones who drive the car, who actually who are putting the risk out there. Risk reward.
Here's what I'll say about that. Yes, they are putting the direct risk. Do they put in the most hours? Probably not. Do they put in the most stress or labor intensive stuff? Probably not. Let's face it. If they're getting in shape to drive, right? So from a physical standpoint, that's just good for them anyways.
You know who's not in this picture?
So that's kind of a benefit.
Yeah, you know who's not in this picture is probably Daniel Ricciardo.
Well, they don't have. I don't see any of the reserve drivers.
That's what I'm saying. He does things for them. I'm sure he gets. He's got testing.
Oh yeah, Danny Ricciardo probably puts as much testing time, at least not on the track, but at least in the simulators and stuff, as either of those guys. But that's what I'm saying is there are engineers in this crowd who are probably putting in 80-hour work weeks. And Max and Checo maybe are only putting in 30.
And you're right. It's just like any other corporation.
Also, you know what else I thought about just now?
What's that?
Drivers. People who drive their vehicles around, things like that. Like transportation crew, warehouse
there might be
guys.
Some of those guys, though. Well, they might be in that picture. I don't know. They might be, food service guys. The guys that, that make that make Christian Horner's omelet.
I saw a meme. Have you seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yes.
Do you know when his dad is in there talking to him and he's like, "You spent $60,000 on a dinner,"
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Well, it was for clients, right? It was for clients." And
Yeah.
he's like, "Well, yeah, you had all the sides, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I had all the sides." It was like Red Bull trying to explain
Right?
their
Why
budget
they're over
breach.
budget? Yeah. This is why
It
we're
was
over
like
budget.
Max Verstappen's like, "Yeah, I had all the sides."
Yeah. It was all. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I I I don't know. So also, let's talk about this. So if you're looking at the pictures, if you're not, what I've got is a picture of Mercedes right behind McLaren. This was at Silverstone, and what you've got here is that Mercedes is a little upset with McLaren. Not upset. It might not be the right term. What I will say is this: James Allison, the technical director for Mercedes,
Mhm.
right, says that they're going to be taking a good look at McLaren's latest upgrade for clues about how their Formula One rivals have made such a leap in lap time.
Yeah,
What that
that's what I was hearing this weekend. Yeah.
what I hear you saying is, I think you're cheating. That's
Well,
what I hear you saying. I'm not saying
everyone's allowed to look.
and I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth. But the only reason you get upset about it is because they beat your cars, and you want to know why, right?
Yeah.
And later he says
Duh.
something to the effect of, "We keep an eye on all the teams as they upgrade, right?
Absolutely.
And I get it, and we note something new or unusual when it comes along. The interesting and unusual thing about the McLaren upgrade is that its lap time effect is quite strong. It's unusual to have a step of that size of relative competitiveness in the middle of a season,"
Yeah.
which sounds like, hey, you're cheating. Um,
It's just saying you did something we don't understand. It's
right, and we
confusing.
want to figure out why and see if we can get that too.
Well, of course, right?
Well,
That's
sure.
that's how everything. Well, it's like what's it called? Do you remember a couple years ago when Mercedes brought the push pull wheel?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then Red Bull was like, because they immediately started just hacking lap time off,
Right.
and Red Bull was like, "No way, that's
But-
cheating," and now everyone has it.
But I mean, it's
Now
funny,
every single team has it.
and it's funny.
It's because when you see it, you go, something's got to be wrong. And
Right.
and then you challenge it, and then they have to explain it. And once they explain it, then you go, oh, next year we're going to use that
Oh,
too.
yeah, we're gonna do it.
Next year we're going to use that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of times I've watched those videos, what was it, Inspector Seb,
Yeah.
walking up and down pit road, checking out everyone's cars.
touching things,
Max-
getting in trouble.
Max Verstappen touching Mercedes back wing, Lewis Hamilton
Oh, my
squatted
God.
down looking at
They-
Red Bull's
they-
vents.
and they do.
It's just all over the
and
place.
I get it, and I understand that you're going to do that because I mean I would too. Why are you faster than me? Why last week was I faster than you and this week I'm not?
Well,
I
yeah,
get
and
that.
there's this guy I watch on YouTube, and he's a former Formula 2 driver, and he was saying like it's like their jump was huge.
It
It's like
was.
Mercedes is right to kind of like talk about it a
To
little bit.
question
It's,
it,
it's
yeah.
unheard of. Like you're
Well-
talking like multiple seconds
But
instantly.
but let's back up and say that also Mercedes made a giant jump at some point in time this year because Fernando Alonso was third in every race for
I
the
think
first
Fernando
5 or
Alonso
6 races.
has more dropped off than
You think it
Mercedes
is?
has gotten. Yeah,
I
I was
think-
thinking about that the other day because we were talking about like who's doing well behind Red Bull the other day, and
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that like I was looking at some like lap times, I was looking at some stuff about Fernando. His qualifyings have not been as good.
Right.
He's had some penalties here and there. I think he's more fallen off than Mercedes has stepped up.
And
on the flip side, though, McLaren just straight stepped up.
They did. And I don't have a picture of it, but did you see the Williams Gulf livery that they're going to
Yeah,
for Singapore, Japan,
it's just
and
on every
Qatar?
car now, huh? Everyone wants to do the Gulf livery.
Yes. But
It's the
the
coolest
Williams
one.
one looks really good though. I mean, I like the light blue. I
do
just do.
too. Well, that's why I like McLaren. Well, I mean, it's not the only reason, but that's one of the reasons why I like McLaren's cars is because they have that really cool. It's not as light as the Gulf blue, but they have those blue accents on that papaya orange, and it's just super cool looking.
It does look good. And then the Google wheels that have the
The Google wheels
are pretty cool.
They need to
Yeah.
go next year.
You think so? You don't like those?
I like it's fun. You watch it one time, you're like, all right, now it's kind of.
I'm over it now.
It's like a little kid designed a wheel. Well, it's a circle, right? Just like Google. Oh, God.
I don't know. I don't mind. I like the little Duracell battery top where the
It's
air
another.
intake
See, I
is.
swear they have little kids saying like,
I
that
like
kind of looks
that.
like a battery.
It looks like they might, but I mean, it could also be adults like us who are kids anyway.
some
I mean,
some
let's be
some
honest.
dad's got all these like
Yeah.
promo pictures or mock-ups all over his counter, and his kid
Oh.
comes and goes, "Oh, that looks like a battery." And he goes,
You know,
"What
it'd
do
be cool if you did this. Yeah, I mean, Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, so Formula One's in Hungary this weekend, like I said, and so 7 o'clock on Saturday on ESPN, you can watch the qualifying. 6 o'clock on Sunday, you can watch the race. Not that it will be very exciting. I anticipate that Max Verstappen will win.
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite track yet?
Favorite what?
A favorite track?
Well, so I own the 2021 F1 game for PS5.
Sure.
And I race on there occasionally. I don't do it as much as I did when I first got it, obviously, but I still race on there just for fun. There are certain courses that are easier, I guess. Let's say the Austria course, the Red Bull Ring.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. Silverstone, I like that one. Those two races provide the most, I guess, speed and technical things combined. I like the road courses because there's more chance of someone colliding with someone else. I mean,
yeah.
Let's be honest. As race fans, you want to see a collision at some point. Everybody wants to see it. We don't want anybody to get hurt. I just want to see a collision. But I like those courses where you can go fast and you also need to be technically good. Because the more speed there is, the more chance there is that something happens and you go flying off the course, which is pretty cool. I don't know. Red Bull Ring is pretty nice. Elevation changes and all. I like the Silverstone one. I know it's flat, but it's got some high speed corners that we've seen, like 2 years ago, Lewis and Max, or is it 3 years ago? Yeah, those kind of collision things. I do like those tracks that have a really sharp first turn that you're going into. And that's Azerbaijan.
Coda.
Yeah, Coda has a pretty good one.
Uphill and to the left. Yeah.
Azerbaijan has one of those sharp left-hand turns. Monza.
Azerbaijan has two sharp ones.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning.
Like 1 and 3 are like super 1 and 2. Might be 1 and 2. It's like two left-hand turns.
I think it's 1 and 2. Yeah, because it's like there might be quote a 1 before that, and then it's 2 and 3.
Yeah.
It's like a slight turn.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's those first two major turns of Azerbaijan are like straight 90-degree turns.
I like those. What I'm still trying to figure out is this: if the racing line is out in, right? You go from outside in. That's literally what you do. Is you go from the outside of the corner inside to the in, and then you go back to the outside, right? That's the speed. That's how you carry speed through a corner, and that's great. How come the pole position guy is not on the outside? He's always on the inside, and he has to beat you off. And he gets a it's not half a car length. Maybe it is. He gets that little lead, and he has to beat you off the line, and then he has to move over in front of you in order to make that corner at the speed he wants to make it. That causes a lot of issues, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I like that. But what I'm getting at is, how come he doesn't have the outside? How come the outside guy isn't first?
It's not
spot?
Always the outside guy, right? Because it is. At Silverstone, the first turn's a right-hand turn.
Yeah.
So first place is on the outside.
No.
Do they flip it?
I don't think that's true. I don't know. I gotta look now. Crap! Now you've made me. I have no idea, and I won't be able to look it up in time.
I'm pretty sure the starting grid is the same. 1 is front left. 2 is behind to the right. 3 is behind to the left. 4 is behind.
So then I guess
sure
why
on
wouldn't
some tracks?
So I guess
inside, some tracks you're outside.
So I guess the question is, why wouldn't they flip it?
I don't know.
Right.
Do you need an extra award for being in first place?
No, I guess not really. But I mean, it makes it.
You already have the fastest car on the grid. You need a little extra.
It makes it interesting, and I like that. It's just kind of weird, I think, to me that the way it happens.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. I don't either way. I don't care.
I'm looking at a picture here of Silverstone's.
So left front is number 1.
They're on the outside right there.
Yeah. So he's already got the position to go around the corner the right speed. But on other tracks that's because that one's clockwise. Right. It's the as the British say, anti-clockwise or counterclockwise track.
They say that?
Yeah, anti-clockwise.
Oh.
Yeah, it's anti-clockwise.
That's so much word.
It's not more counter is bigger.
It's not more letters than counter, but counter is easier to say. Like it has less mechanisms in your mouth.
Just because
is two very big syllables. Like they're very potent.
You are an uneducated American. That's what happened.
I say aluminium, so I don't know.
Aluminium, yeah. I don't know.
But to follow up on my own question, I think I really like Silverstone.
Silverstone
I think
is really good.
The crowd always seems really good there.
Yeah.
And they seem fairly disciplined too.
Yeah.
We've seen some crazy good accidents there over time. Last year at Silverstone is where what's his name flipped on his head.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
was that Yuki?
Yuki, no, Yuki,
No, was it Yuki that flipped on his
Joe
head?
Granu.
Joe Gonu, yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
flipped on his
flipped
head
on his
last
head,
year. The
yeah,
year before was the year that Lewis and Max had a
right,
collision. The year
yeah,
before that, Lewis and Max had a collision.
yeah.
The couple years before that, Lewis finished the race on a blown tire. He did a final lap on a blown
It's
tire.
a
Like,
fun
just
track.
there's always something at Silverstone. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
No, that's a good track. I agree. That's one of my top two or three. I like the Red Bull Ring. I just because from racing it, it's smooth and easy, and you can get a lot of speed, and I like that. You don't see it doesn't translate necessarily to watching it, not as much. I like the road courses because they're close,
Yeah,
and there's issues there. You know, like hey, he brake checked me, you know that kind of thing.
I'm really curious to see what Vegas ends up looking like this year.
Why is Miami so bad? Why is the Miami track so
So
terrible?
here's the thing. It's not. It's not bad. All of the drivers like it. The people who don't like it are the F1 purists who didn't want a Miami race.
I don't.
And they're gonna crap on the Vegas race. They crapped on Coda when it was first brought
Well,
in. They just don't want more USA races, and
My-
so they're just crapping on Miami. Miami has that really cool high speed turn that is fantastic. That back straightaway that leads into kind of a hairpin
Yes.
is awesome.
just yeah.
Like, it's a great track.
Well,
people just hate on it. To
it
hate
doesn't,
on it.
but it doesn't have. You can't overtake there. It's not easy to overtake. Which
There's almost too many turns.
what you want is a track that where you can have passing. You need passing. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see these cars run around somewhere like the Indy track, Indy 500 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where it's just a big quad oval, right? 4 turns, full speed. You know, there'd be more passing. There'd be more. It'd be interesting to see how these cars react to something like that. What we get is different tracks, and I like the different tracks. Don't get me wrong, but some of them are really boring. The Spanish Grand Prix, there's an example. Canadian Grand Prix, those are tracks where nobody passes anybody. Nothing ever happens. If you're out in front, you're gonna win, and unless you have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's half the tracks on the circuit are kind of like that. If you're out in front right away, unless there's rain or a major collision or super red flag at the late or yellow flag late, you're gonna win. And I don't like that. Monaco is one of those things. Qualifying at Monaco is what you watch. The race, not so much.
Monaco is a beautiful heritage course and things like
Sure.
that, but in terms of competitive racing on race day, it's fun for crashes.
It is good. It is good for crashes. You're right.
But if you're watching, if that's what the draw to it is wrecks, then the course is missing something.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think I think they need to clear out a couple of those little turns. I don't know how. I don't know how you do that. It's in the middle of the city, but
Right. They're not going to change it though. They've modified it already. Actually, it used to. When they come out of the tunnel,
Yeah.
right up by the casino, and they go down the hill. That used to be more of a straight through, but they made it a big left-right turn.
right to try and slow people down
try and
because
slow
they're grabbing
people
too
down.
much speed.
Correct.
People were slamming that wall on the backside because it's
Man.
because after you get through that, so if let's say that turn wasn't there, that little like box wasn't there that you go around,
Right.
you went straight through it, it would slightly curve to the left, and then you have a kind of a hard right and left,
And
people were running right through that thing like crazy.
and then what you saw this year, especially when it was raining, right?
Oh,
You saw people
no one could
just
stop.
driving right through it anyway. That was interesting. I like and I like rain. I love the fact that a little bit of rain changes everything on F1, and it makes it way more exciting. Yeah.
I want more of it.
Which is and Spa is coming, so Spa it'll be raining in Spa.
Wow.
Yeah, always.
By the way, I did hear a fun thing about NASCAR the other day.
Yeah.
I heard what's it called? Taking less and cashing checks. And I loved it. I was like, yeah, that's a good one.
Making lefts. Yeah, for sure. That's all it is. Yeah. Anyway, so more to follow. We'll talk about the Hungarian Grand Prix next week.
Right.
The results. Let's talk about the NFL for a minute.
Let's do.
We got a few things. DeAndre Hopkins is now a Tennessee Titan. So DeAndre Hopkins has played in 19 games over the last 2 seasons for the Arizona Cardinals, which is half the games.
Yeah.
Last year he played 9 games, 64 catches, 717 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Titans last year averaged 171.4 yards per game passing, making them 30th in the league in passing offense. They're 296.8 total yards per game, also 30th in the league. I don't know. And they have Derrick Henry still, right?
Right.
This is a run-heavy team. Why would you sign as a wide receiver? Why would you ever sign with the Tennessee Titans? What is the? I mean, he's getting okay. The 2-year deal, $26 million. I get the money aspect, but he could probably could have got that somewhere else at another team that actually throws the football. Why would you
Yeah.
go there?
I personally don't see what the draw is. Number one, you're going to a team where the coach has made it abundantly clear in the past that he wants to run the ball.
Right.
Like, so that kind of puts you in a weird place to begin with. Number two, who's the Tannehill, Willis? Like,
Yeah.
any of these guys exciting you as a player?
Right.
Like, no. This has all of the makings of either a money move, meaning maybe the market's smaller on him than people thought it was. So maybe it's a money move, like, hey, this is where you can get the most. Or maybe it's a personal move, like, hey, I have friends in Nashville. I want to live in Nashville for a little bit.
It could be. I don't know. It's weird.
But
right?
from a team standpoint, it does not make a lot of sense.
It looks weird. And the Patriots were apparently in the running to get him, and apparently Bill Belichick didn't pull the trigger on it. And everyone, all the pundits, we call them pundits, I don't know, professionals, experts, whatever, at ESPN and other places are saying that's a missed opportunity for the Patriots. And it might be.
I would agree. Yeah. They if they believe Mac Jones is as good as Mac Jones is supposed to be.
I don't know, but Bill Belichick told me last year he was going to be awesome. Yeah, I don't know.
Bill Belichick just lied to everyone.
Everyone. But, I mean, maybe not the first time. So, Saquon Barkley for the Giants. They were unable to reach a deal before Monday's deadline for franchise players to agree to long-term deals. Barkley has said he is contemplating his next move and might have to sit out the season rather than play under the franchise tag, which is a $10 million tender offer. So the offer's out there. He can make 10 million, 10.091, whatever it is. I can't remember. It's just over 10 million.
Yeah.
This season under the franchise tag, right? And they were trying to hammer out a long-term deal. And he's willing to sit out as opposed to play for $10 million. And I this is me. I'm old school. I don't understand that. Just play the game. You're under contract to play.
Yeah.
Just play. Why would you sit out a year? Last person to do that by Le'Veon Bell, by the way, which didn't exactly work out great for him either.
Did he sit out or he demanded
he sat?
trade?
He sat out a whole season.
Oh.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell sat out a whole season.
So he didn't have to play under franchise tag.
Right, because he thinks he's worth more. And I understand you thinking you're worth more. And I get it. But if your team hasn't cut a deal with you and you're only obligated to play under this franchise tag for 1 year, right?
Right.
Take the money and go play. It's not chump change. If you don't play, you're not going to get paid.
Well, all right. So let's think about this from Saquon's point of view.
Okay.
Obviously, he wants security, right? He wants
Wants
job
the long
security,
term.
more specifically salary security.
Mm-hmm.
Reasons why he wouldn't want to just play, obviously, are injury.
Injury, sure.
And he's been prone to injury the last 2 years. He's had injuries both years. So if he takes this chance,
Right.
gets injured, he assures that he will not get a big deal next. Or he can play the what if game, sit, and hopefully someone comes along and pays him. Like, that's kind of his gamble to take, I suppose. You could talk about, like, integrity and contracts all you want, but that crap went on a long time ago when, there was a point in time when the teams didn't make a ton more than the players. Like, they weren't netting, thousands of times what players were, being paid.
Sure.
That's what's happening now. So players are realizing that they are why people are here.
I
That's
guess.
it. So they're trying to get their market share.
The running back market is bad though, because Josh Jacobs is in the same boat in LA or in Las Vegas.
Well, they should all thank Ezekiel Elliott, because Ezekiel Elliott essentially forced Dallas to sign him to a big deal, and then has underproduced. And now no one wants to sign a running back to a big deal.
Right.
No one. Kamara can't get. I think the only person who's going to get paid what they deserve is Nick Chubb, and that's because he doesn't get hurt. Knock on wood. I'm going to try and draft him this year. He doesn't get hurt. He produces.
Yeah.
He scores a ton of touchdowns.
He does.
He's a team player. He's quiet. He doesn't get in trouble off the field. What isn't there to like? He's going to get paid.
Barkley, by the way, set a career high at 1,300 yards, just a little over 1,300 yards last year rushing for the Giants, and was the team's leading receiver with 57 catches.
Yeah.
So I get it; he's valuable, but I don't. I I'm an old, and I've told you this before. Everybody hears this. I'm an old school person. Okay, team drafts you; they want you to play. They've signed you to a contract. Then you go play. You go play until you are in a position at the end of your contract to renegotiate a new contract. Now, he's trying to renegotiate now a long-term deal, but he's not willing to play this season under the terms that are already there. And I
Well,
don't like that.
I will say I don't like the franchise tag.
I don't
It
either.
was something that the NFL invented
Right.
to put a hold on paying players for an extra year.
And
Players have not liked it since it came about. There's always been
Well-
conflict about don't franchise tag me. It's always been a problem, and it's because it only benefits the team.
What?
Yeah, the player makes, what is it? They make league the same as the highest paid player for the league.
Right.
So when you get franchise tag, you make the same amount as the highest paid player gets for 1 year.
here's
But
yeah,
it's,
Go ahead.
it's you run your risk because they don't franchise tag quarterbacks.
not very often.
They only franchise tag dangerous positions, safeties, running
Right.
backs,
Yeah.
linebackers.
Yeah.
The positions that are high impact, lots of injuries, those positions that get franchise tag. The NFL is using it as a crutch, and I just think it needs to go away. I'm not blaming the running backs for not liking it.
I would agree with you. My issue is just that I'm like I said, if a team drafts you and they want you on their team, you play for whatever it is that they're whatever fair market value is, right? You play for them. You sign a contract, you play. And you just play until that contract is over, and then you renegotiate, right? Now, they know he's going to be a free agent. They slap him with a franchise tag. Oh, I don't like that. I want a better deal. I want a long-term deal. This is them trying to keep you for an extra year, right? Before you fly and go to somewhere else. And I get that. They clearly want you, right? But they don't want to overpay for you for 1 year. Why should I slap you with a 7-year deal?
They don't want to hamstring past this year.
Right, because why would I want to slide you to a 7-year deal, and knowing you've had injuries in the past, number one, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Why would I want to commit to that, knowing that there's a chance you might only play 6 games next season? I don't know that. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but what if it does? What are my reassurances? Because everything seems to tilt towards the player's favor and not towards the team favor anymore. Right. In that you have to guarantee money. You have to.
I think that's bigger than the NFL, right? Like that's the world we live in now. People are realizing that there is a lot of money out there that a few people are hoarding.
Sure.
And we want some of it because there's no reason for it. There's no reason why we can't have more than what we have. And the NFL, I think, is just symptomatic of that. It's happening in the NBA. It's happening in the MLB. It's happening everywhere. Players want more. The power is in their hands. They can just demand a trade today. Just demand a trade and say, I'm not going to play. And then either you're going to pay me and I'm not going to play, or you can trade me and you lose that. Like, they're in no-win situations anymore. That's why I keep telling Austin, who's a friend of the show, been on the show a couple times. Yeah. I keep telling him about DK with Seattle. If Seattle doesn't produce, DK is going to demand a trade. He's like, no, he's not. I'm like, yes, he is. Like, he's a super, super talented wide receiver. He will demand a trade if Seattle doesn't make improvements. If they miss the playoffs again, I think he's gone. So, but that's just the way it's all going. Players are just, really making an effort to look out for themselves. It used to be all about team, until you started putting individuals up on ESPN all the time, until it became the 24-hour news cycle, until players became superstars, not heroes, but superstars, celebrities. And now it's all about the individuals, and it's just the way it's gone.
Well, the Las Vegas Raiders and Josh Jacobs are in the same situation. They did not reach a deal. He's in the same situation as Saquon Barkley. I don't know how it's going to play out, but Josh Jacobs is super important to that team. So is Saquon Barkley. I mean, they are super valuable, and I get it, but it's weird. I don't like the system, the way the system is set up, and you can't necessarily blame either the team or the player. They're playing within the system. That's what they're doing, right?
If you want to blame somebody, you blame the NFL and ownership, and you say you guys need to stop being cheap, start protecting your players a little better, blah, 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 blah. That sort of stuff.
To be fair, there was an explosion in salaries, and that's causing a lot of trouble now. which it's going to happen every so often. You're going to have this explosion of salaries where teams are going, oh, I'll just pay whatever it takes. And some teams are going to go, I'm not doing that. And so the salaries start going up. And what it costs to get one of these good players becomes more and more, not because they're worth more, but because somebody overpaid somebody. And that, Deshaun Watson. I'm not naming
Well,
names. But.
I mean, if you want to like where to start, so in 1986,
yeah,
the average salary was 198,000.
Yeah.
In 1993, thanks to NFL strikes in '87 and another like possible strike, it was at 800,000.
Yeah, that's a
so $600,000 more
jump
over a 7-year span.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the Deion Sanders rule, where the Cowboys signed him to a $35 million contract that was loaded on the back end with bonuses.
Yep.
And then the other owners didn't like it, and blah blah blah. And then Fires requires no such distorted contracts, is what it says. But yeah, so it's like this whole like salary boom started a long time ago.
So,
but yeah, it says that in 1926, Red Grange changed that when he signed a 19-game deal with the Chicago Bears that earned him roughly $100,000. This was the first large NFL contract.
It was
$100,000 in 1926.
The Galloping Ghost, Red Grange.
Jeez,
just FYI. So speaking of Deion Sanders, by the way, he's going to miss the Pac-12 Media Day because, quote unquote, his doctor recommendation follow-up procedure because of his foot surgery, something. What I'm asking is, you're Deion Sanders. Couldn't you have said, "Hey, dude, can we do it tomorrow?" Why does it have to be today? Why? I mean, I've got a thing going on. Could it be? I mean, why can't we do it tomorrow? What is one day going to cause the problem? Why are you going to miss media day? I feel like this is him trying to not be in front of a camera. That maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's what we're doing here.
I don't think that team is in as good a place
as he thinks it is.
Not just as he thinks it is, as I'm in Denver. All of these people think this team is going to compete with TCU in week 2, with Oregon in week 4,
because he's
with USC in week 5.
Yeah,
I know people are drinking the Kool-Aid, man,
absolutely,
and they're all about to die.
Prime is out there telling you how good this team is. No,
in the last 2 months, he's been quiet about the team's progress. He came out real hot, real loud. We're getting this guy, we're getting that guy, bing, bang, boom. Then all of a sudden, practices start.
Right.
Summer practices start, and the chirping goes away, and now media days go away. I'm not saying they're not going to be good. I think they're going to be better than one win, which is what they had last year. So
more news and notes. Tiger's ex-girlfriend, Erica Herman, just filed a $30 million lawsuit against the 15-time major champion's estate. Tiger's got to pick better girlfriends. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I thought he was okay with what's her name.
What's she citing? It's a girlfriend.
Well, yeah. It's so. Filed a lawsuit with Woods and the trust that owns his $54 million Florida mansion, seeking $30 million from the latter amid unspecified allegations of sexual harassment.
Towards her?
Apparently. I don't know. Woods wrongfully using it against her non-disclosure agreement, using it against her and citing a federal law that prohibits or prevents the enforcement of non-disclosure agreements in instances of sexual assault and harassment. I don't know if you can be, I don't know what's going on. All I know is that she's dropped a lawsuit on him, right? He's got if I was him, let's just stay away from women. I mean, I don't know. What do I know? But he got divorced, and then he went out with what's her name, the skier, and and now he's with this girl who is now apparently there's a problem. Either he's got an issue, or he's bad at picking girls.
So this is an unlawful eviction lawsuit.
Okay.
So that's what's happening here. She's saying her
$30
million claim was based on how much it would cost to rent her property, like Woods' beachfront mansion north of Palm Beach. For the 6 years of residence, she was allegedly promised by the golfer and then denied. Herman alleges she was tricked into going on a short vacation, that when she arrived at the airport, agents for Woods told her she had been locked out of her residence and would not be allowed to return.
So, and let's be honest, she was the manager of his Palm Beach County restaurant.
Yeah,
before they became whatever they are. Boyfriend, girlfriend, I guess. Let's call it
I
that.
mean, she signed an NDA
He
and
threatened to fire her.
she tried to get out of it, and the
Right.
judge said no.
Well, she alleges that he threatened to fire her if she didn't sign the NDA.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, I know,
It
right?
The problem is that like inherently you want to look at this and go, oh, she's just
She's
chasing his
chasing
money.
money, yeah.
But
Maybe not.
we don't know what they
And
talked about. And now Tiger Woods has a little bit of a track record with
right,
girl problems.
right. So it's hard to
So
say, right?
at what point is it him, right?
Right. Is it him or is it her? And we don't know. But I mean, it's interesting news just to watch because
Seems to be a bit of a common thread.
it's
a couple
another
issues.
Tiger thing, right?
Yeah.
Let's also talk about the fact that the Jets are on Hard Knocks.
Love it.
Do you?
I mean,
Is
Aaron
it?
Rodgers.
I mean,
I do.
I like the idea of seeing it, but is it going to be a distraction to the freaking Jets?
Probably. It's a distraction
Probably.
to every team.
You got a
None of
brand
the
new quarterback.
None of the teams that are on Hard Knocks,
Yeah.
I don't think they end up doing very well most of the time.
No, I would have to look at that. I don't know. I haven't checked that out. But that's one of those interesting things. There was a shooting in Auckland, New Zealand, ahead of the Women's World Cup. 3 dead. I don't know why it's got anything to do with the Women's World Cup, which is Australia. New Zealand, I know it's close, but I mean, I don't get it.
All right, hold on real quick. The
Yeah.
Raiders were
Raiders.
2019 Hard Knocks, 7-9. 2019. Browns 2018, 7-8-1. Buccaneers 2017, 5-11. Rams 2016, 4-12. Texans 2015, 9-7.
Ooh.
Good one.
There's your winning record.
Falcons 2014, 6-10. And
Ooh.
here's the best one. Bengals 2013, 11-5.
Okay.
So historically, though.
So the average is probably about 7 or 8 wins.
Oh, wait, hold on now. Dolphins were 7-9, 2012. No season for 2011. The Jets were 11-5 in 2010,
Yeah.
and the Bengals were 10-6 in 2009. So there's a couple seasons there, but since 2014, no one's had a winning record except the Texans. So it's not that great.
It's not that great a thing. It's got to be a distraction to have all those cameras and the stuff going on. It just has to be.
It can't be that much bigger of a
You
distraction
wouldn't think so, right?
Than what's NFL Films is out there every
But they're
day. ESPN's out there.
but they're
every day.
on the practice field. They're not inside the locker room. They're not inside those places where normally people aren't during practice.
I did like though that last year they did the Rams Chargers both.
Yeah.
And so you got to hear a lot of like Justin Herbert mic'd up and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
So also you've got apparently hazing and sexual misconduct, let's call it that, in the Northwestern football program. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, and we're going to talk about that at some point in time later. But it's like a giant story. It's a giant deal. Even though they've already fired the head coach, and I don't know. Pat Fitzgerald was the former coach. Anyway, I just this stuff that goes on in college football, and Northwestern is a fairly elite school, private school. It takes a lot to get into Northwestern. It ranks up there with like Duke and Stanford in terms of admissions, right? To allow this stuff to happen under you, not only it tarnishes the school, the reputation, the league, college football in general, all this kind of stuff. And I don't know, but we'll talk about more about the particulars later. But I mean, like this stuff is it's like a big news story. So if you want to, read into it, you can. Also, I'm just running through a few headlines. Chelsea beat Wrexham today, 5-0. So if you're, they scheduled that club friendly in the summer here so that they could.
I don't understand friendly matches.
Friendly matches? It doesn't matter. Friendly matches are practice. It's practice.
Half the time the best players don't even play.
It's practice. That's all it is. But Wrexham, but the owners of Wrexham,
it's ticket sales.
Right. The owners of Wrexham, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney, have scheduled a couple of these exhibition matches, and one of them was Chelsea. One of them is to play the I think the U.S. women's national team at some point.
The men's team will play the U.S. women's national team.
The Wrexham will play the U.S. women's national team. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I know, right? And I don't think it's a full thing. I think it's like a 7-on-7 or something. It's like a small version. But I like the idea of it. You know what I mean? But this is when you have expendable income like those guys do. These are the kind of things you can arrange. So and the influence.
It looks like their next two games are the Galaxy
LA
and then
Galaxy, right?
Man United.
Right, man. Yeah, they're playing everybody, and I'm like, they're gonna get hammered, and that's fine, but they're getting exposure, is what they're getting.
Publicity.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Um, yeah, interesting, right?
Yeah.
And then lastly but not least, Miami Marlins third base coach Jody Reed fractured his lower right leg when he was struck by a foul ball off of Jesus Sanchez. Next thing you know, they're going to have shin guards, right? Because the base coaches have to wear helmets now, right? Because they might get hit in the head because this happened
It's
a while back.
yeah.
But now he got hit in the leg, so let's better put shin guards on him. Next thing you know, shin guards, chin protector, or chest protector. It's all coming on. Face mask. I don't know. What's next?
Yeah. It's just liability. I mean, I think about like any other workplace where you have like projectiles, maybe.
Right.
You probably have to wear a helmet. You probably have to wear what's it called, hard hat.
I would
at
think.
any place like that. You can go to a construction site that's building a one-story building, and if you don't put on a hard hat to protect from falling items,
Right.
like you can get in big trouble with OSHA. So can you imagine there's probably an OSHA board that's looking over baseball saying, hey, that ball was ratcheted at your head at 120. You should probably be wearing a helmet. Your ears can be exposed. That's fine. But we should probably cover the top part.
I don't know. There's so much that happens I mean, I don't know. OSHA regulations are pretty strict in terms of things that you can and can't do.
It's because the one time it costs you.
But again, it's because
baseball won't be hurt.
But everything is like that. Every reason why you have a warning tag on something is because somebody was an idiot. Let's be honest.
Well, for sure.
That's usually what happens.
That's exactly right. But it's like I read all the time about like small businesses getting sunk because they didn't quite have something right, and next thing you know, some guy steps on a nail because he didn't require him to wear steel-toed shoes or whatever, and then he sues you because he misses work for 4 months, and now you can't pay for that, and you can't pay for it. Now you go under. It won't hurt baseball,
and I know it won't. I know it won't. But it's like it's just like the oh my gosh, this coffee spilled on my lap. How did I know it was going to be hot? Come on, man. That's the whole.
But you know that's a lie.
That's why you go get coffee. It's because it's hot.
But you know that's a lie.
I agree.
You've watched the thing about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That they were serving it at like 190 degrees.
You wanted it hot. Did you not?
Can you drink? I want it hot enough to drink right away.
I don't.
I want it to be the perfect amount of hot that where the moment you hand it to me, I can immediately put it into my system without worrying about it burning the skin out the inside of my mouth.
I will tell you this. The first cup of coffee, I want it drinkable. The second cup of coffee, I can wait. It's okay if it's hotter because I can wait. I've already had some. The first one, yeah, I want to drink of it now. You're absolutely right. But the second one, it can be too hot, and I can wait for it to cool down. That's okay.
But the real kicker behind that whole lawsuit was that McDonald's themselves were claiming, oh, we only put it at 120 to 130, which is acceptable by FDA standards. But then, upon sample test, they're finding out they were being served at 180, 190, which is enough to take the skin right off your arm.
So what happens when these people, and I get it, but it isn't their fault it spilled.
Well,
you spilled it.
Well, it's their fault that it caused the damage it caused, right?
Kinda. If you put that
argument is the same argument you could make for when a child shoots another child because they handled a parent's gun. Is it your fault that they shot him? No, it's your fault that you did something irresponsible and left something dangerous in a position to be abused.
Right.
McDonald's handed way too hot a liquid to a person. That's their first mistake.
All you had to do was put it in your cup holder. Don't put it between your legs. You don't spill it.
Well, all she wanted was them to pay for her medical bills. And
but you don't put it between your legs. Why would you put the coffee between your every car in the world has a cup holder?
That's not the well. Actually,
it is the point.
I don't know for sure that her car exactly has a cup holder. She was in the passenger seat of a car too.
Doesn't matter. I'm going to bet you that there's a cup holder. What car have you ever been in that doesn't have a cup holder, either in the door or in the middle? Which one? Name one. Have you ever been in a car that doesn't have one?
Yeah, a freaking Ferrari, genius.
Okay, but she wasn't in a Ferrari. I'll bet it does, and I'll bet it does.
Actually, there's a bunch of cars out there that don't have cup
holders. I don't know,
but they're all like hyper sports cars. And things
I just don't know. Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, all you had to do is put it in the cup holder. Don't put it between. I would never put a hot.
But is there not a reasonable expectation that even if you do spill it,
would
it's not going to destroy you?
Would you have done that? Would you have put a hot cup of coffee between your legs? While you were driving.
I mean, no.
Okay.
Well, she wasn't driving. She was in the passenger seat.
Okay, whatever. Anyway,
Yeah,
in the car,
son,
would you
her
have
son
done
was driving it and handed her the coffee,
Would
and then
you-
she sat down to pull off the lid to put in sugar.
I do it in the middle console where my cup holder
I hear
is.
what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Okay. There's a
But-
smart idea, there's a smart answer, and there's a dumb answer.
Regardless,
She was dumb.
they served us a cup of coffee too hot.
She was dumb.
See,
Dumb people
you
shouldn't
are
be rewarded.
literally
Don't be
falling
rewarded
for
for being dumb.
exactly what was done.
Right.
You need to. There's a video out there to watch on this whole thing that talks about how McDonald's got their congressman and a bunch of other people on board to spread this. The world's suing everyone for everything.
It is.
Literally, Toby Keith was paid money to put the line, spill a cup of coffee, win $1 million in his song.
Yeah.
Paid money. He was bought, puppeted.
He didn't have to.
And now you are regurgitating that
He
same
didn't
thing.
have to.
McDonald's has liability for serving something way too hot.
Okay. All
Plain
right.
and simple. And all she wanted was, hey, I get it. Accidents happen. That was way too hot on you. I just need my medical bills covered. McDonald's
get
said,
it.
Nah,
I
not
get
a
it.
problem. And she said, fine, I'll sue you. And that ended up costing them 5 times as much. If they would have done the right thing, started double checking their coffee and how hot it is and things like that, and then paid for her medical bills and then made course corrections to be better human beings, it would have been fine. But no, it's a giant corporation, and they didn't want to shell out any money for
if I was McDonald's, I would sell.
By the way, the car they were in was a Ford Probe,
which has cup holders.
Hold on, we're getting into that. Ford Probe cup holders.
Mm-hmm.
I've never actually seen the inside of a Ford Probe.
It has to.
The Probe does not have any cup holders.
Anywhere.
With the car parked and without a place to set her coffee, she
on the
put
door
the cup between her legs.
I don't.
No, it says the
well, you're
Ford
reading a
Probe
story.
does not have any
You're not
cup
reading
holders.
something from Ford. You're not reading technical
This
data.
is one from Capital One Auto Navigator.
That's not it.
It's recapping the whole thing.
Nope. I don't buy it. I don't believe you. Not at all.
Yeah.
I think.
Third degree burns on 16% of her body. Skin grafts. Oh my goodness.
She could have held it in her hand, not squished it between her legs.
Jeez.
There's a million places to do this, not between your legs.
The Ford Probe does not have any cup holders. Boom.
I don't buy
Ford
it.
Probe does not have any cup holders.
I don't believe it.
Boom. Another website. The Ford Probe does not have any cup holders. The Ford Probe did not come with cup holders.
I don't believe you.
You don't have to believe it all you want. It's the truth. 1994 Ford Probe does not have a single cup holder in the car. So annoying. This lady from here, Mazda Capella, posted a picture of the inside of her Probe. No cup holders. So now immediately your argument goes back to crap. Just put in the cup holder. There's no cup holder to put it in.
I'm looking at it right now. Hold on.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? But again, it's a sports car. This is what I just said a second ago. Some sports cars don't have them. People are into this show, by the way.
Ford Pro, by the way.
They're like this. They're getting into the good
The
stuff.
Ford Pro, by the way, is not a sports car. Whatever.
It was sporty.
You can sports.
It was a sporty
sportsy. Okay,
Same way
all
that
right.
a Mazda Miata is a sporty car. But yes, it did not come with cup holders. She had nowhere to set her drink, so she put it in the first available place. You could put it on the dash, but you're about to take off.
In your hand.
Hey, she's old, man, and it's 100.
You don't put it between your legs. That's a dumb move. That's
all right. So what we have here is we need to sue her parents for raising an idiot.
Dumb.
We need to sue Ford for making a car without cup holders. We need to sue McDonald's for serving something at 190 degrees, which is not consumable.
All right.
It's not consumable.
But it's going to cool off rather fast. It's not like it's 190 degrees for an hour. It's 190 degrees for like a minute or two.
I wonder how long it would stay. This is actually something, the law of thermodynamics is outside of my scope.
Right.
But I wonder how long it would stay above.
It depends on if she had one of those little stoppers in it or not.
Or,
right?
I don't think that was a thing in the 90s. I think that feels like a Starbucks 2004 thing. And also it depends. Was it winter? I don't know when it happened.
Right.
It was in New Mexico, so it doesn't matter.
New Mexico, it's always going to be hotter in New Mexico anyway.
It's always going to be hotter in New Mexico.
I don't know. I feel like this.
And by the way, what they paid her was the equivalent of 2 days of coffee sales. What they ultimately paid her out. Not what she asked for. What she asked for would have been a percentage of one restaurant's sales from a day. She ultimately got paid out with $160,000 in compensatory and $2.7 million in punitive. 2 days of sales. Boo freaking who McDonald's. Let's stop acting like it's everyone else's fault that they can be idiots.
Whatever.
Also,
I think they're all.
Ford, put cup holders in crap.
I think everyone involved is an idiot. Why didn't she sue Ford for not having a cup holder?
I don't know.
There you go.
It wasn't her car to sue, I guess, on that.
She could have made a lot more money.
Yeah, but it was later reduced to $640,000 overall. But that well covered her medical bills.
Sure,
Which is thing.
and that's
She
fine.
died a decade after settling her case.
Why did we get into this story, by the way? What were
It started
what were we
with
talking about?
players' lawsuits.
Oh, Tiger Woods. This Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Frivolous lawsuits,
Frivolous,
things
yeah,
like that.
right.
Yeah, it's a very interesting and fun one.
We rabbit holed that one really good.
Yeah, but that was a good rabbit hole.
You're right.
Because we you know what we came away with? Ford probes don't have cup holders.
Ford probes don't have cup holders. That's what we learned today.
What the hell?
I'm going to write that down.
Your
This is what we
initial
learned
argument
today.
was like, put it in a cup
Put it
holder.
in the
Put it
cu-
in
I
a
mean,
cup
that's
holder. And
that
then really,
easy.
when all of a sudden it was like, there's no cup holder. It's like, oh.
Well, that doesn't make any
Well,
sense.
then crap. You put it on the floor, you put it on the dash, you put it between your legs.
I
if
would-
you need to use two hands.
But see, I would expect that if I bought a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, something like that, it wouldn't have cup
Probably.
holders. I
It
would
probably
get
doesn't, yeah.
that. But a Ford Probe is not a sports car. You can call it that all you want. It is not a sports car. I don't know why you wouldn't have cup holders. Why would you make any car without a cup holder? Everybody, anyway, like a Ferrari doesn't ever get doesn't want to take a drink with him.
That's true. Hold on, I'm gonna figure out something for you. The inflation calculator, we're getting there. How much was a Ford Probe new? 16,450.
$16,000 car.
Yeah,
Doesn't have cup holders.
in 2000 or in 1994, and what is that worth today? That is worth about $33,000.
Yeah.
A $33,000 car nowadays.
I'm writing it down on the notes on our show
Yeah.
notes, by the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week when we talk about why don't Dodge Vipers have air vents?
Right? I mean, I don't even know what's going on here. Let's find another. We'll find something more exciting to talk about next week.
No, I thought that was great. Well,
Oh
sorry,
my
something we
God.
didn't cover, by the way, though.
Yeah.
Which is important. The new uniforms that are all dropping around the league.
We'll talk about that next week.
Oh, okay. We're gonna get into a uniform conversation.
Yeah, we'll talk about uniform next.
Because
week.
the Broncos have a uniform drop on the 25th, and
Right.
another team has a uniform drop on the 25th.
And you saw that the Seahawks dropped their throwback uniforms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I was expecting something awesome. It's the 1977 uniform. It's great. I like it, but it's not a big deal.
Austin texted me. He goes, "They totally nailed it with this." I'm like, "Yeah, they nailed it 30 years ago."
They nailed 40.
It's like
almost, almost
they
40 years ago.
re-nailed it.
I mean, you couldn't go wrong with it. It was great to begin with. I don't even understand why. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got in that conversation. We'll talk about it tomorrow or next week. God, I don't know. I
By
don't
the
even
way.
know.
Quick side note.
Yeah, there's more notes.
Liebeck, the lady who sued McDonald's, sued for $20,000 to cover her $10,500 in expenses, her future expenses, which were being tallied at $2,500, and her daughter's loss of income for taking care of her during that time, which is about $5,000. So $18,000. McDonald's counteroffer $800. How freaking insulting!
That's pretty insulting. I will agree with you.
Get the hell out of here! Get the hell out of here with that. And when McDonald's refused to waive her offer, that's when she got an attorney, and that's when it went to district court. And woo-hoo. All right, guys, we're getting played off.
Yeah, you got the music coming up, and I was told, and I listened back to this. The music, and it sounds loud in my ears. It's not that loud, apparently, on the way out.
Yeah.
By the way. It's not as loud as I think it is. Let's hold on. Let's back up because we have the trivia question still. I was about ready to play us out. We haven't even answered the trivia question. The Major League Baseball record for runs scored in a game for two teams. You know what it is?
It's like 35, 36.
Give me a number. It is not.
Is it higher?
So it's actually 49. The Cubs beat the Phillies on August 25th, 1922, 26-23. The record for runs in an inning is 18 by the Chicago White Stockings, who eventually became the Cubs on September 6th, 1883. And the record for runs by one team in a game by one team is 36 by the Chicago Colts, who later became the Chicago Cubs on June 29th, 1897. So when I say the Cubs are in all of these, they're in all of these. They're in every little bit of this.
Constantly.
Yeah, the Cubs beat the Colts 36-7, so it was 43 runs. But the Phillies Cubs game was 49 runs, and then 18 by Chicago in an inning is the record for one. And I just had a couple of pictures that I put up here, basically showing Toronto scoring 11 in a 25-3 rout of the Red Sox and some other things on here. But there's a Boston 23-3 over the 17 runs in the seventh inning. Yeah, how long an inning is that? 17 runs. In order for 17 runs to score, assuming no one else is left on base, right? when it happens, when you get done, you have to have 20 batters come to the plate. That's batting around twice plus 2. That's a lot of batting. Just FYI. Anyway.
Well, the Rockies the other day gave up 23 runs in 4 innings.
So yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of scoring going on in Major League Baseball, and that's kind of why I brought this up. But anyway, there's that. So let's see if my music is still playing. Oh, look at that. And it just kind of ended. So, but we're gonna keep it on. So, are we?
Hey, it's back.
It's back. We're on YouTube every week. We're on Twitter at Lamm Sports, on Facebook under the Best Lamm Sports Show. We are on, where is it? Facebook, Best Lamm Sports Show? Lamm Sports. You can email us, lammsports@gmail.com. You can go to the website. This show is going to be on there. And most of the last year's shows are on the website at lammsports.com. I want to thank ESPN, Fox Sports, NBC, ABC, CBS Sports, the NBA, the NFL, NCAA, PGA, Formula One, and of course our sponsors, The Range in Yakima, Boss Kitty Yarns, and Stephenson Wine Estates in Hood River. This has been a Brain Rock production, a division of Lonely Tree Media, LLC. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.